Joe, good morning. How are you today?
Awesome. It's a fantastic start to the day,
It
for sure. Get to sit here with you and the Pick Dogs crew. It's going to be a great morning.
it definitely is, and I'm excited about it. NFL Week 11. Gotta say, I gotta hand it to me yesterday again in college football. It's been 2 weeks in a row. He just got crushed. It was like so many blowout games, and it just I don't know, wasn't my style. I don't know. It just seemed
I
that
couldn't believe that Oregon game.
they got crushed. Brian really got me on the two games we disagreed on. Brian really got me, I gotta say. So both those games just one-sided crushings. But the basketball game we disagreed on, I got the best of him. So I don't know.
Yeah, I was shocked by the Buckeyes coming out so strong as well. Um, what a blowout they had.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it.
I think like in that sort of game, what you see is that you know mistakes start to compound.
Yeah,
And that's exactly what starts to happen. And the team starts going downhill. You just can't stop them. Once the mistakes start happening, I mean, every little thing, you know, just was magnified. And those games are going to happen. And the same thing happened to Oregon. And we saw it happen across the country, just game after game, just tons of blowouts yesterday. Every game until
absolutely.
even the last game of the night, the Boise game. Blowout city. It's like every
Yeah.
single game was a blowout. There was very, very few nail-biting endings, except for, of course, in the Florida-Missouri game where I believe Dan Mullen will be fired. I think they will eat that contract, $7.5 million, 8 years guaranteed money that he just signed.
Absolutely. I think that's the only way they can take this.
As a taxpayer in the state of Florida, I wonder, because that's where that money will come from, because it is a state
Yeah.
university. I wonder how they feel about that. I just wonder. I know Gator football does make a lot of money, but man, you give a guy that kind of money, it's a state school. It comes directly from the taxes. I guess
Yeah.
with sports betting legalized in Florida, that'll help pay for some of it. And, they get a couple of calls go their direction. Maybe the official betting partner of the Florida Gators helps them out a little bit. Who the hell knows, right? I mean,
Yeah, something's going to happen. So
something
it's a
has.
lot for the taxpayers to swallow.
Yeah, it's certainly it's dead money, and we're seeing it across the
Yeah.
country. At schools like LSU as well. We see it at where they're basically content to eat these contracts, and these are public universities. These aren't private universities.
Yeah.
So the money comes directly from taxpayers. They'll say it's boosters or whatever, but at some point the taxpayers pay for those
Oh,
state
for sure.
universities. Well, I don't live in Florida anymore, so not my problem. But
Which games are you excited for today, Mitch?
um, for NFL, I'm not a big NFL fan. I'm just not. I know that we cover it, and I know a
Yeah.
lot of people out there are huge NFL fans, but it's really not my thing. It's like, I just think that the game is so diluted that for me, we do our halftime shows and I get excited about it and all that stuff. But for me, the game is so diluted, so watered down, and so, just I can't get behind many of the players, so it's
Yeah.
hard for me to be excited about it because what we see is just week after week of just the same garbage. It's the worst calls aren't reviewable. So it's like that if that Pittsburgh Chicago game, if you were on the fence, about the NFL and whether you're in or out, and you watch the Pittsburgh Chicago game, well, I mean that's got you out, right? Because
Yeah,
it's just
absolutely.
it's like it's how do you digest something like that? Where it's like I don't really care what side you're on. Sometimes we're on the right side of these games, right? These odd calls, and
Yeah,
sometimes we're on the wrong side. But the reality is that these odd calls swing the games 90% of the time. It's not
they absolutely
going to
do.
be the touchdown that's not called a touchdown. It's not going to be those calls that make the difference in the game. The calls that make the difference in a football game are the calls that are not reviewable. It is the second down holding call when it is 2nd and 3. and all of a sudden now it's 2nd and 13. You go from a
Yeah.
position where you can run or pass or do whatever to now you're in a pure passing situation. We saw this in the Super Bowl with the Falcons and the Patriots, where they went with the holding call or the off, whatever it was. They moved them back 10 yards. All of a sudden, now they're out of field goal range. All of a sudden now, strip sack, right? Because they know they're going to pass, and the whole thing flips. So I don't know.
Well, as a fan for myself, I can't wait to watch. Of course, my Chargers take on the Steelers, and I hope they have a great day. And then I'm also looking at the Packers and Vikings game. I can't wait for this one to get started and see the outcome.
I'll be watching the shows, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I'll be putting on my Chargers jersey later today. People are asking where my jersey is. It will go on after the show. Yeah, it should be a great day of football. I know we're going to get some upsets here. So it'll be interesting to see which team pulls off the biggest upset today.
Yeah, I think we'll see it, in the NFL. It just
Absolutely.
We're going to see it, and it's like I don't like offense in the NFL. I don't like it in college football. It's not what I watch for. So the NFL presentation of the game that they have these days is just not what I grew up with, and it's not like it's not what we were kind of groomed to watch, growing up. So I know millions and millions and millions of people think the NFL is their number one thing. I think the NBA's got it right. I think here's a sport that's got it right. They showcase their stars. They get somewhat preferential treatment.
Yeah.
But they deserve it. And it's not in a way that usually will affect the actual outcome of the game. The better teams, the team that plays better wins the game, regardless if it's the Timberwolves or the Lakers. Yeah. It really doesn't matter.
Absolutely. Huge difference there.
Anyways,
I'm interested to see how Cam Newton plays today, because honestly, I've never been a believer in him, and I really do think Washington's going to have a good day against him.
Well, speaking of Lakers, let's bring Al Niños in. Al, how you doing today?
Doing all right. How are you?
Doing good. LeBron back for the Lakers. Didn't go so well in his return. Lost by 22 points in Boston. But that's gonna happen. But they're definitely gonna be
That didn't help us much in the game. I thought they could win without him, and maybe they were better off without him in that one. That particular one. I don't say they're better off without him in the long run, but yeah, they've got to sort some of their problems out. It's been a mess this season and not pretty to watch.
Well, not for Laker fans, but for Laker.
I'm sure you're loving it.
I'm not. See, the thing is that I don't have really a team. So I'm good.
No, but I know you usually like going against the big market teams, though.
I like going against the big market teams. It's
fair enough too.
But plenty of small market teams in the NFL too. And they don't seem to get a ton of calls either. So who do you like today for our viewers for the NFL?
Yeah, it's funny how you mentioned the better team usually winning in the NBA. I know a couple of refs that have something to say about that, but anyways, yeah, that can be funny in the NFL as well, and you can also see some funny 2-point plays that make no sense other than covering spreads. Yeah, definitely a lot of funny stuff happening everywhere. But anyways, we're going over one of the games you talked about real quick earlier, the Packers and the Vikings, which should be one of the better matchups of the day. It's a pretty close line, so two pretty good teams going at it. Obviously, the Packers have the much better record at 8-2, but they've had the much easier schedule as well. Their defense has been pretty solid this season, though, and a bit more consistent than Minnesota's. There are a few things going the Vikings' way. Obviously, it's not everything going Green Bay here, which kept this from being a premium play. But I originally really liked the Packers a lot. But again, they will be on the road, so Minnesota will have home field. They'll also have their starting running back, and Kirk Cousins may have the better numbers, but I'd still take Aaron Rodgers over him, though. He was dealing with some distractions, but it sounds like he's ready to focus on football again. And, he'll be missing his running back, Aaron Jones, but he still has some weapons to work with, and he can really make anyone he could turn any receiver into a good receiver when you have a quarterback like that. So this should be a close game, but that's exactly where I'd like Aaron Rodgers better than Kirk Cousins as well. I'd obviously much rather have him going down, making that final drive in a close game, whether they're behind. I mean, if they're behind a few points, I think he could put that drive together for the win. So I'm backing the Packers here, small road favorites.
Joe?
I can make cases for both these teams sidewise. You look at the Green Bay Packers, 5-0 against the spread, last 5 road games, covered the last 9 games straight. But then we look at the Vikings. This is a must-win game for them. And they're going to run down Aaron Rodgers' throat, and that's where he struggles. So I'm not going to take a side in this one. Divisional rivals, it's going to be a tough-fought battle. I'm looking at the under. I think we have a lower scoring one. 6 of the last 7 in Minnesota between these two has gone to that under.
I don't know. Running down the throat sounds painful. I think that, stay the hell away from me.
It would be painful.
Stay the hell away from me. Anyways, I'm gonna take the Vikings here. I like the whole thing of the Vikings. This is like one of the better environments to watch a football game in the NFL, and it's a divisional road game. And that's what these are. These are the tough ones. I talk about this on our weekday show a lot, and I say that there's a difference between a divisional game and a non-divisional game, because in non-divisional games, you don't know who you're going to play every single year. In divisional games, you know who you're going to play twice a year, so you build your teams to play against those type of teams. So the Vikings, they know the Packers. They know they're going to play them twice a year. And when they draft their players, they draft players that are going to likely be effective, because they know that in order to win that division, the Lions and Bears are in the division, but this division goes through Green Bay, and they know that. And so they build their team to do that. So if they can't beat the Packers at home, then there's no reason to even finish the season. I mean, they might as well just pack it in and just call it a day, because there's no reason to play anymore, because you're not going anywhere. You're not going to do anything. You're not building for something for the future. They lose today, I'm going to guess Zimmer's going to get fired, because there's no reason, to even go on. I think there's way too much at stake here for the Vikings. If they lose, they're gone. They're done. Not only are they done with this, they're done for this. It won't matter, because like I said, this is for them, their fans. This is as close as it comes to like the Auburn-Alabama game, or the Michigan State, Michigan State game, or Michigan-Ohio State, or Stanford-Cal, or, one of those games. This is as close as it gets to that in the NFL for them, because this is the team they need to beat, and Aaron Rodgers is certainly the guy they need to show that you can't beat us in our house. So I'm going to have to go with the Vikings. I think they just leave it all out on the table in this one.
It should be a good one to watch, so definitely keeping an eye on this one. But again, I'm sticking to my pick here, and
of course,
I think the Packers get it done in a close one. Yeah, I mean, even if they were out of it, Minnesota's off to a horrible start. Yeah, 4-5. Even if they're already technically out of it, this is the kind of game you would show up for. I mean, if you have nothing left to play for, you still show up for these divisional games. But again, I just think Rodgers gets it done here.
What do you think about this Jefferson on the Vikings, this receiver? Is this guy just one of the greatest receivers like in the entire league? I mean, this guy, seriously, there's some great wide receivers out there. This guy's got to be in the conversation for the top 10. I mean, I watch these games, because Joe and I do the halftime, so I have to have something to talk about during the show. But,
and Thielen is a great receiver as well, in his own right. Very different kind of receiver, but he gets the job done as well. But again, Rodgers is a guy that I never really liked going against, even when he had a horrible defense. And now we're seeing this defense step up a little bit. I can't count him out with it.
We love Aaron. I got the Aaron Rodgers bobblehead. It's like he's on the shelf here, but it's like at the same time, it's not. 36% of the bets on the Vikings, 65% of the money. This is like the prototypical, square. The Packers are the prototypical square play.
I'm aware it may not be the most popular play, but again, sticking to my story here.
All right. Well, what are you selling today? pick dogs?
Trying to do a bit of everything. It's been working pretty well lately, so sticking to it. I have a 5-pack. Again, there was a lot of tough games today in the NFL. I think it wasn't the easiest schedule. Again, these lines keep getting sharper as the weeks go by, but I did find 2 plays I really loved. So I have a 5-pack with 2 NFL and then my best NBA, NHL, and college basketball. So if you want to check that out, or have them individually as well, if you're just into one sport.
I would have loved to have Brian Bittler here to discuss this one with you. I think it would have been a good time, because I think he
bring him on.
I think he would have gone through the numbers here with you and would have explained to you why that play is a rough one. And normally Brian and I don't always agree because of the numbers, and stuff. But this one kind of is a perfect storm, to be honest with you. I don't have a premium play on it, but I'm kind of regretting it. I'm going to put a couple bucks on the Vikings. I've been known to do that during whoever's talking next. We haven't decided yet, but while they're talking, if you see some typing going on the side, that's what I'm betting on sports. Imagine that. Anyways, Al, thanks for joining us.
See if I can't get a better number after you smash the Vikings. I finally get the pick 'em with the Packers.
Well, anyways, Al,
best of luck today, Al.
Al, thanks for joining
us. All right,
us.
Thanks. I would wish you best of luck as well, but you're going against my pick, so it's kind of tough for me to do that. Not you, Joe. Best of luck to you, though. But,
thank you.
Have a good one, Mitch.
Al Nino's
Thanks, Al.
Squares play on the board there. The Packers. Anyways.
As you mute him and turn him off.
I'm so crabby after yesterday.
Last jab, he can't respond.
So, Joe, this is how my day went yesterday. I got the Panthers on the puck line against the Wild, right? They're up by 2 goals the entire frickin' game. 19 minutes gone in the third period. 19 minutes and 15 seconds gone in the third period. I'm up by 2 goals. The Wild score, right? So I'm only up by 1 goal, and I'm laying the puck line with the Panthers.
You should be fine.
15 seconds left to go in the game. Empty netter for the Panthers, right? We got the puck line covered. 3 seconds left to go in the game. The Wild score. Like, wow.
Oh man, I hate that. That is a totally bad beat right there.
It was so brutal, but that was just like my whole day. It went like that. Like I had Oregon. They got.
Well, that was that Navy game. I was coming down, and it looked like it was going to hit overtime, and no, didn't happen. Field goal at the end there.
So bad. It was like, I don't know. It happens. I mean, that's what sports betting is.
Absolutely.
We got Al McMorty is in Vegas, so he's on the road, so we'll bring him in next. We know he's on the road, so we will let him
get to that buffet.
Yeah.
Let me get to sleep. How's that?
You haven't even been to bed. I like it. That's what Vegas is about.
No, well, that's what our job is about. Unfortunately, I haven't been at the casino either. I've just been working all night.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But thanks for taking the time to join us. I talked to Al last night. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to join us. And Joe was like, is Al coming? I'm like, well, I had dinner with Joe D'Amico. Joe might still be on the filibuster right now, talking about everything. So how you doing, Al?
Well, it would have been better if the games had won yesterday, but I was right there with you, Mitch. My game sucked yesterday, so on to Sunday.
Anyone that doesn't have days like that has never bet on sports or hasn't been a sports handicap or anything like that. It's the nature of the beast. Nobody wins them all. Nobody wins the 90% that they claim they do. Nobody does. Just doesn't.
Yeah, I wish I had a game as close as your Minnesota Wild game. I had TCU -21 as my favorite play of the day, and they won by 3, so that's how my day went. So.
Yeah, when the Kansas Jayhawks decide they want to show up and play against you, that's usually not a good sign. But today, like it always is in sports betting, we wipe the slate clean, we start all over again, and go on our next heater. What are you looking at today in the NFL?
Well, I think there's an interesting situation. Last week we talked about the Detroit Lions. They were winless. I thought they were a live dog against the Steelers, and obviously they played well enough, and they didn't win, but they covered that spread. Well, they're still winless, so they still qualify in a lot of my winless team systems. So we're going to look at another one today, and when you look at how winless teams do with an 0-4 or worse record, and they're getting 5 or more points, those teams are 97 and 67 against the spread, including 64 and 38 ATS versus non-division teams. And so that sets up well for them here against Cleveland. I hope I'm wrong. I've got Cleveland in the survivor pool, so I just want Cleveland to win the game straight up. But I think Detroit is probably a good value play for that. And then also you take a look at Cleveland. They've got a negative scoring margin this year. They've been outscored by 10 points overall, so it's a minus 1.0 scoring margin. And as we've talked about in the past, you don't want to lay points with teams with negative scoring margins, whether it's 7 points, 9 points, or more. These teams are just, incredibly bad. And if you take a look at how teams do with negative scoring margins, laying 7 or more points, those teams have gone 174 and 273 ATS when they're matched up against a losing team. So, there's lots of reasons to look at Detroit here. I know it's ugly, but I'm going to take the points with the Lions.
Joe?
I can't trust Jared Goff, especially with Thanksgiving on deck right away. I'm not going to take a side in this. I'm going to look more at the under as well. Both these teams have been trending to the under. The under's cashed in 6 of the Lions' last 7. And out of the last 5 that the Browns have been the favorite, it's cashed 4 of those times. So that's where I'm going to go. I think we have a lower scoring a hugely defensive game out of the Browns especially.
With the Browns, it's only 10-point differential that they're to the negative. So it's, it's not like, and they got clobbered last week. So it's not like they're way outside the realm there. I don't know. I just hate the Lions. I just can't stand them. I just hate them, even without Goff.
Goff's so bad.
The Browns are minus.
But then you look at the Browns, they're only 2-5 against the spread at home. So it's the Lions 1 to win, right? To cover in that spread.
But the Browns are minus 10 points for the season. The Lions are minus 110. Which really for a team 0-8-1 isn't really that bad. You look at the teams that have the big difference, like the Houston Texans are minus 130. They're even worse, and the Jets are minus 135. Al, do you know the Jets gave up more points in their last 4 games than the 2000 Baltimore Ravens? The entire season.
I did not, but that's a pretty cool stat.
Yeah, I figure that's one that you would appreciate. It's one we've been talking about all week.
That's a pretty cool stat.
Yeah, it's like 20-point differential. It's not like 1 more point or something. It's like 20 more points they gave up in the entire season for the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. But
is Jared Goff out today?
Yeah, he's not playing.
Oh, okay. Then I have way more faith in the Lions then.
Yeah, they've got a quarterback plan that I've never heard of before. Can't be as
He's got to be a step up from Goff.
I don't know. Who knows? I've never heard of the guy. I've never seen him play. I watched Goff play last week against Pittsburgh, and I texted Mitch during the game this guy sucks.
That's terrible. It's terrible.
Anyway, so let's look at another game real quick. The Arizona-Seattle game. Obviously, Arizona's banged up. Colt McCoy is going to play. Hopkins is not going to play. The line opened at 50 for the total. It's come down to 45.5 right now in some spots, 46 in others. I think we're at the point now where the over has some value, notwithstanding the absence of Kyler Murray and Hopkins. And when you look at what the two teams did last week, Seattle was shut out, 17-0. Arizona only mustered 10 points against Carolina. But when you take a look at how teams do in games where one team got 10 or less points the previous week on offense and its opponent also got 10 or less points the previous week on offense, those games when you've had over-under lines greater than 40 points, they've gone over the total 32 of the last 42. I just think, with the number coming down 4.5 points from the opener here, more than compensates for the absence of Kyler Murray, and I'm going to take it over the total.
Yep, weather actually looks decent in Seattle today, Joe.
Yeah, I couldn't agree.
Joe called that Miami weather because people on our show in the morning were like, "Hey, the weather's fine right now." It's like the game comes on. I mean, it's just a downpour.
Yeah, it was disgusting weather for them to play in. Yeah, I think this is definitely an over game. I see this hitting 51, 52, 46 is too low for these two teams. Even with Kyler Murray out, they're going to be able to still move that ball and get those points. So give me the over as well.
Seattle defense is so bad against the run and the pass, and Colt McCoy is so bad. So it's like I could see the Seahawks on a short field against that good Cardinals defense, and I could see, the Cardinals being able to move the football in Seattle. So I could definitely see this one going over. I'm with you. What do you have today at Pick Dogs?
Well, for the NFL, it's a short card for me. I've got 3 plays in the NFL. I've got 3 plays in the NBA, and I also have 3 plays in college basketball, and then 1 in hockey. So 10 plays in all, but not a huge card in the NFL for me. But there are, of the 3 plays, 2 of them are really strong. So, it's top heavy there, but just not a lot of depth as far as the number of plays. But 10 plays in all today. I've also already posted my Monday night play for tomorrow, and folks can go to Pick Dogs and get on board, and also team me up with one of the other champion handicappers here on the 2-for-1 handicapper special.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for joining us as always, especially on the road. We appreciate it, and
I'll chat with you guys next week.
Absolutely, we'll see you on the drive-through as well.
Okay.
Enjoy the rest of Vegas.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Mitch.
Big Al joining us on the road from Vegas. I know he had dinner with Joe D'Amico, so we'll
They must have had a great time.
We didn't ask about any of the highlights from that, but I'm sure it was a good time was had by all.
So I'm wondering what the average time people need of downtime after a trip to Vegas.
It depends if they had dinner with D'Amico or not. I think that's part of the fact.
Well, yeah, that definitely adds to the time.
Well, we're going to bring in Kevin Thomas next. Let's see, we got. I should eventually. What'll happen is like the season will be over, and I'll eventually get everybody's name here in alphabetical order to do this correctly. But what we'll do is we'll just bring him in, and then I'll find his name. Oh, here we go. All right.
Awesome.
There we go. Good morning, Kevin. How you doing?
Okay. Great. How you guys doing?
We're good, thanks. Well, NFL Sunday again. We know you're a Packer fan. You got the Packer hat on. You heard Al Ninos early talking about the Packers. And
I wouldn't lay a dime on them today.
I just don't think.
Not with that.
I'm with you. I don't really.
Not
think
with that
it's
spread.
Day. I don't think it's their day. But
Nah.
stranger things have happened. We know that. Aaron Rodgers is a miracle worker.
Oh, he absolutely is.
He is. So tough to bet. For me, I struggle to bet against him.
Yeah.
I usually don't bet my own team. I don't want to jinx anything. I'm one of those kind. I don't like betting.
But
I'll give him out as a free pick on Twitter and stuff. But other than that, nah, I don't put my own money on them.
I struggle mostly with my teams because they're not good. That's the problem I'm having with them recently. But what do you got going on today?
I'm looking at the Eagles-Saints game down in Philly today, and we're looking at the Eagles getting their first win at home. I'm pretty sure the line's at 2.5 when I sent this pick out, so I'm going to say it's still at 2.5. What we got here is the Saints team motivated on defense because this is the last time someone put up 100 yards rushing, and it was Jalen Hurts, and I think it was his first or second game in a 24-21 Saints lost last time they're in Philly. So I think the Saints are going to be highly motivated here on defense, but I don't think it's going to be enough with their offense because, Kamara out, which is huge, but it's not as big as Ramczyk being out. That's the right tackle for the Saints. That's a huge loss for any team to lose a tackle. So this Eagles defense is going to be highly motivated. In that game back then, when Jalen Hurts ran for 100 yards, his number one target was Rager. Now, we all know Rager is maybe a number 3, maybe not even a starter in this league. So I think he has all the weapons, and I think the confidence, and the Eagles get this done. The 2.5, I'd lay it up to 3. I think up to 3, I think they're safe, especially against the Saints and Simeon quarterback.
Joe, Alvin Kamara out for the Saints. He is, he's kind of that guy, but he hasn't really been the same without Drew Brees there. I'll be honest with you. Drew Brees, when he was in San Diego with the Chargers and in New Orleans, always way more effective when he has a running back, like when he had Sproles in San Diego and when he had when he had Kamara, kind of that guy that he has that safety valve dump off guy, right? Who just,
Yeah.
you get him in any kind of space. You give him like a 2-yard circle around him, and he has the potential to take that to the house every single time. And it pads his stats like no one's business.
It absolutely did.
You know,
absolutely did.
but
And I don't know. I'm not in love with this game, you guys.
I struggle with the Eagles because they're just such the kings of disappointment.
Absolutely.
The other big thing is no Michael Thomas. I mean, last year, 88 yards. I mean, he 8 catches, 88 yards against the Eagles. That was their number one receiver. They're kind of like the Eagles, and they don't have size at the wide receiver position. I mean, who the Eagles? They had that. They don't even play the one wide receiver that's over 6'2". He was a joke. So, I mean, everyone's small and speedy, and that's what the Saints have. And I think the Eagles match up well with that. I mean, I know Tyreek Hill ran gunshot on them, but I think they match up well with these receivers, especially if they catch like they did against the Titans. They're horrible. So
I just think there's more fight in the Saints right now. I think they're showing more heart on that field than the Eagles. I'm not taking a side in this. I hope the Eagles get this win for you, but I don't know. I can't take a side with either of these teams right now.
I mean, you could see the Eagles missing the field goal like a chip shot, like you know, with on the 17-yard line, you know, with time expiring and the kick like not even coming close. It's because that's what you expect from the Eagles, you know. And it's like if the Eagles were a 2.5-point dog, I'd probably feel better about them being the team that, you know, backdoor somehow or like, you know, gets the touchdown but doesn't get the 2-point conversion or, you know, something like that. And it's like, but I don't have any faith in the Eagles. Not as a favorite. When's the last time they covered at home as a favorite? I mean, it had to have been a while ago.
I don't know.
I don't know, but it's like I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure
they've been a favorite in a while.
I'm sure there's a stat out there that the Eagles are a miserable favorite because
I do like the over in this. The New Orleans games do trend to that over, and with me thinking they're going to keep this tight, I do think we see a higher scoring than 42.5. I think that is too low.
1 and 5.
We've seen 5 of the last 6.
1 and 5 against the number.
I think the weather. I think they're calling for rain, so I don't know if it's going to rain hard down there. They're going to be running it.
1 and 5 against the number in their last 6 as a home favorite. So these are the kings of disappointment. There's a reason their own fans boo them.
Well, it is a sharp play slightly because it's 46% and 80% of the money. So I think the Sharps are going to, you know, especially with that Packers game, I think the Sharps are going to clean house today.
We struggle with the data because we don't know where it comes from, you know, and it's like we're all looking at that, and that data comes from Sports Data IO that we're all looking at, right? It's one company that kind of supplies it for a lot of these websites.
I know. It's 10 casinos hooked together.
I don't believe it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the more I think about this Saints,
60% in NFL, I've been using it, and it's working for me pretty good. So I like it.
Yeah, the more I think about the Saints teams, what I saw out of them the other week against the Titans, I think they can hang with the Eagles pretty tight here. I think they either squeak out a couple-point win or they cover this number. So I'll take the Saints.
Yeah, I'm no fan of the Eagles, but there's no team that's jumping out in the NFL right now that you're saying they're a Super Bowl contender. The Titans, I think they're overrated. I think Henry was a huge loss, and I think the Saints could have won that with the no calls last week, but I'm not saying the Saints are any good there either. I mean, everyone thought it was going to be the Bucks, and hell, they're not looking that good, and they're hurting on defense too. So I don't think any team's running away with it. And it's such a close thing when you said that this is more important for the Saints. It's just as important for the Eagles because they're chasing who might be the best team, the Cowboys. So
True.
I think it's real important for both of them, and the Eagles need a home win. It's going to happen today.
I don't think so. I just, I don't know. Like I said, if it's 10 books, maybe it's offshores, maybe it's whatever. I don't believe any of that stuff because then why don't they say it that it's these 10 books? You know, why wouldn't they say it? These are the 10 books. This is what it is.
It does list what casinos. I don't know. It's one of the things my good friend Brian Bitler hooked me to, Mr. Sharp himself.
All right. Well, what do you got for sale today?
I got some Gridiron Gold. It's my 3-pack, and you got plenty of time because it don't start till 4 p.m. And if you miss out on that, you can still get my AFC knockout between the Steelers and the Chargers. It's a huge game right there, too, in the AFC. But the 3-pack is the place to be. I mean, it's $40 for 3 of my top NFL picks for today's action.
Yep.
And as always, partner me up with one of these cappers, because, I mean, all the guys that you're going to see today and on the website, they're all doing great work, like I say every week. I mean, it's hard to keep up with these guys. I mean, every time I look, I have a good day, but I'm still 5th on the leaderboard. So, I mean, these guys are great, so can't go wrong with any of us.
All right. Well, good luck today. And, of course, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Best of luck, Kevin.
See you guys next week.
Kevin Thomas. 10 casinos. I've not heard that. I'll look. But I have not heard that.
Tell Bitlo to hook you up.
Well, I'm gonna check out. I'm gonna call my friends at SportsData.io and ask them that, because I'll find out. I have friends there, so I actually do have friends. So I will call them up, and I'm sure they'll be happy to hear from me. They'll pitch me their stuff.
Absolutely, they will.
They'll pitch me their stuff. I won't buy it. It's like we go through the same routine. It's kind of the game. It's like, hey, I want to come out and play golf in Maui. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Man, all right. Not buying anything. I already got the guys. I got guys. It's like I got stuff.
You got it.
I got guys. It's like we're good. But anyways, I like those people, and their stuff is generally really, really good. I would just love to know where they get the data from. I would,
Absolutely.
That's really, for me, what I would like to find out. And they're a business-to-business company. So it's not like you guys can go to SportsData.io and get their stuff, It's like you need to have like a website and everything, because it's raw data. It comes in the form of raw. I don't know if you guys, it's whatever. It's raw data. It's not fun. It's like you need to have you need to have a guy, that knows how to.
Someone interprets it.
Yeah, and they charge like, $275 to $350 an hour, to do it. Anyways.
Who are we going to have up next?
Another discussion for another time. I don't know. Who would you like to see next, Joe? Sean?
Sure.
All right. Let's bring up Sean next.
As long as he's ready. Awesome.
Let's see. Am I ready? That's really the question.
It's
like my eyes are getting worse. There we go. Sean, welcome to the show.
How you doing today?
We're doing good. We're excited. I don't know. I wasn't that excited for NFL Sunday. I was a little bitchy and pissy because of yesterday, but I'm starting to warm up a little bit. El Nino's got me rolling there a little bit, got me a little involved. So now it's like, now I got some bets in. Now I care.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd week. It's not we don't have the best slate of games here today, but kind of middle of the season, maybe we're due for a bit of a down Sunday in terms of the quality of the games, but we'll see how it plays out. Sometimes you think it's going to go like that, and then we get a great week. So
could definitely be a lot of fun. Yeah, you look at some of these games on the board, and they just don't even look competitive, and they don't even look. Not even do they not look competitive, they don't even look interesting. But
yeah, anytime you have the Browns and the Lions and games like that, it's kind of
even the Raiders Bengals. Like if that game would have been a month ago, it would have been a really big game. But now it's like both those teams going.
Yeah, same with the Cardinals. The whole late, the 4:00 games today. The Cowboys Chiefs is kind of the big headliner. Cardinals Seahawks would have been better if we had if the Cards were healthy, but
Cowboys
we'll see how that
would
goes.
have been a good Thanksgiving game.
Yeah.
But they're doing Cowboys Raiders is the Thanksgiving game.
After we sit through the Bears and the Lions.
It's gonna be I have a feeling that's gonna be a fun halftime show. But what do you got cooking today?
Yeah, so today I was going to talk about the Washington Carolina game. I think this is a bit of a popular play here, actually. But I'm going to be on the Panthers in this game. Looks like the line now is up to 3.5 at a lot of books. I had it at -3 earlier in the week. It was around -2. I just think it's a good spot for the Panthers here coming back home against Washington. You've got Washington coming off that huge home win over the Bucs last week where kind of everything went right for them except for the fact that they lost Chase Young for the season. And that's kind of a key with Washington right now. The defense hasn't been as good as people expected this year to begin with. Now you take Chase Young away from that group. I think they're just they're in tough here. On the other side of the ball, you've got their best offensive player, Terry McLaurin. He's playing, but he's got an injured shoulder. This just isn't a good matchup anyway here as he goes up against Carolina's pass defense, which you don't hear a whole lot about it, but that unit's been one of the best in the league this season. So I think the Panthers defense matches up well against the Washington offense here in this one. And then on the other side of the ball, you've got Cam Newton obviously kind of injecting some life into that Panthers offense. I'm not really a Cam Newton guy. I'm not high on him or the Panthers kind of in the long term, but there's certain spots where he just kind of feeds off the energy, and we see him come up big. Last week he had a couple of big plays there in that upset win in Arizona. I think here we'll see him play well against the Washington defense. The revenge angle, even though it's kind of overblown here against Ron Rivera and Washington. So I think the offense is set up well. Christian McCaffrey's kind of, this is his third game back, I believe, from injury. I think we'll finally see him kind of take off. I just think this is the perfect setup here for the Panthers to, win this game by likely a touchdown or more. So I'll lay the field goal with the Panthers in this spot.
Joe?
I can't do it. I think Ron Rivera knows exactly how to beat Cam Newton. I'm going to take Washington plus the points. I don't trust in Cam Newton at all. I think he has hyped that offense, but I think we're going to see mistakes out of him when he hits the field. We also look at Carolina. They're 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 games. Both these teams are off big wins. Both are going to come in with momentum. I know this Washington team has not lived up to the defense that we expected them to have, and Chase Young is a huge blow. But I think there's kind of an interplayer theory here where they come out and they play really hard, and they keep this tight. I don't know if they win it, but I would rather take them plus the points over the Panthers minus them.
There's some 3.5s out there for sure, as well, on Washington. It's 3.5 on this game. So I'm seeing at circa, it's 3.5. And
I think there's been. I think Carolina's kind of gained momentum here this week in the betting marketplace. The line's kind of been slowly creeping up. A lot of people have kind of the same idea I do. I think fading Washington off that big win over the Bucs last week. That's just the way the NFL's gone. This year you look at teams come up with a big win, the next week they can't follow it up. So, but Carolina's actually in the same boat, coming off that upset win in Arizona, even though Arizona wasn't at full strength, obviously. So, yeah, it's ideally you want to get the Panthers at -3 or better here, but I'm still all right with them at 3.5.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Cam Newton, I would be completely with you. He is the changing factor against Ron Rivera for me.
Yeah, and I'm like I said, I'm definitely not high on Cam Newton in the long term, but I think here he comes out and has a good game. I think let's face it, it was a horrible fit in New England. Obviously, I mean he just looked kind of disinterested, especially there, in the later stages last season. I think back in Carolina, I think at least in the first home game back, we see him perform well. From there on out, who knows? I think we'll see those mistakes start to creep in, but this is just kind of a favorable matchup against this Washington defense.
Yeah, I don't know. When McCaffrey's in, the Panthers have won. And when he's not,
different team.
He's not in, they lose. I mean, it's a pretty basic formula. It's a tough one. Because
and he hasn't done a lot his first couple of games back. I just think this might be the game where we see him kind of take over the game, which we know he can do.
I've trusted neither of these teams. I trust neither. This is, like you said, this is just not a great day of games. It's a good day for me to be just sitting inside. I wish it was raining, but it's not. It's beautiful. It's 86 degrees. It's beautiful. Anyways, beautiful. What do you got for sale at Pick Dogs today?
Yeah, so today I've got 4 NFL plays on the go. 2 big ones. All 4 go early in the 1 o'clocks. Coming off a 4-1 day in college football yesterday, so looking to start kind of building some momentum after Thursday. I had the Falcons, which obviously didn't go my way. So we'll look to get going here today with 4 NFL winners all early. So and we'll see whether I didn't go well yesterday in the NBA and NHL. Just had one play in each of those sports and lost those two. So may end up laying off here on the Sunday NBA and NHL, but we'll see in the next hour or so if I have anything on the go there.
Well, thanks.
You're in for a big bounce back. I can see it.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thanks. Best of luck, everyone.
Best of luck.
John Murphy kicks butt.
He does.
We have our Become a Capper contest coming up. You could be the next John Murphy. Sean covers like more sports, I think, than most cappers because he does do that CFL angle. He also, does some halves and quarters and stuff like that. And our contest, though, it's just full game bets, full game totals, not team totals or anything like that. It's just the basics of basics. It's basic handicapping 101, and I think it always starts there, and then you go into the other stuff. So we're not looking for prop kings. We have a prop betting tool at the website, which hits those at a better clip than any prop expert out there. So I think we're pretty set.
Absolutely.
In that area. But anyways, I just want to.
Who are we going to see up next, Mitch?
Who would you like to see, Jovan?
Sure.
Without the baby. Let's see. We love the baby. We just it's nothing personal. We like the baby. Sometimes we like more than others. Say that. I don't have kids, so let's see what we got.
Yeah, mine are all big now. My son won his provincials yesterday, Mitch, or not provincials, headed to provincials, won the semi-provincials yesterday.
So is the provincials, is that the final?
Yeah, the big championship.
The championship game, the big one.
So they play in the Edmonton Eskimos huge stadium, the CFL stadium, next week. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, Jovan, what do you got going on for today?
Just one free play for the public. We're gonna go to Arrowhead Stadium. Do they still call it Arrowhead Stadium? Because all these naming rights to these stadiums nowadays, it is what it is. A money grab basically. But so we're gonna look at this Cowboys Chiefs game, and I'm on the Chiefs in this one. Now let's just call it what it is. The Chiefs are on a good cover team. 3-7 against the spread this year. 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 games as a home favorite. But last week against the Raiders, they figured some things out on the offensive end. And Patrick Mahomes, quite frankly, took what the defense gave them, which opened the field up for him to take deep shots later in the game, and it worked. And against this Dallas team who's bottom third in pass defense, they're 21st in pass defense. I think that Patrick Mahomes is gonna pick them apart basically. This is a secondary that I believe has given up the most yardage, of all secondaries in the league. The Cowboys also against the spread, they're 2-5 against the spread in the last 7 road games against teams with a winning home record, and 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 on grass. Now, Jerry Jones, he likes to open up his mouth. He likes to put himself in the game as if he is a player. And, he might have made some bulletin board material with his comments saying that a win against the Chiefs would be a hallmark victory. Now on his face, it might look like, a pretty innocent statement, but it doesn't take much for teams to get up for any kind of comment that might be looked at as a slight. So, I think that's one of those. And I like the Chiefs to roll, not to roll, but it's a good, to be a high scoring game and for them to come out with the victory.
Joe, we saw the Cowboys get absolutely pasted the last time they played against the AFC West. They got crushed. Do you think this conference just because most of these teams, like we talk about when you play in a conference, basically built to play against the same team, so there's going to be a lot of similarities here, and just
a lot of similarities, but I don't know. I think they will have an easier time against this Kansas City Chiefs team that has holes in all different areas. We look at the Cowboys; they're 5-2 straight up in their last 7 against Kansas City. So they seem to have worked out how to beat this team. But I think the easiest and best way to take this is over. I think we're seeing a super high scoring game in this one, as both quarterbacks can move this ball down the field. Both have holes in their secondary. So give me the over 55.5. This is just way too low. I think it's a 60-point game.
So they've won 5 of their last 7 against Kansas City, but the last time these two teams met was 2017, and then before that was 2013, and before that was 2009. I'm going to guess Patrick Mahomes was in middle school.
2009, yeah.
So, I don't know.
He wasn't the starter in 2017 neither. So,
no,
I don't think he was.
So this is the first time seeing Patrick Mahomes. It's a little different story. This, and it's, but sometimes certain teams, they just have each other's number. I mean, we know that too. I mean, we got Bedlam coming up with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Believe me, the players have changed and the coaches have changed. Everything's changed over the last 50 years. But Oklahoma's like, 68-4, in that series or something. But I mean, the Cowboys, all the trends, everything points to them. But what we saw, I don't like that. What we saw against the AFC West teams, the Chiefs generally are. They don't cover a lot of spreads, but they're normally a lot bigger favorite than this. 10.5, 7.5, 6, 7.
Now we did see them play good last week, but look at the Chiefs team we've seen all year, game in and game out, where they've just been disappointing. So I can't get behind them. I'm not going to take a side. I just like that over. I think both teams will move the ball.
The Chiefs have won their last 3 games in a row and 4 of their last 5. 5 of their last 7. So, I understand they haven't played all that great, but I just think that I think the Cowboys are so overrated. So overrated, But plus, they know they have a short week, too. So, short week.
Yeah.
I like the Cowboys on Thursday against the Raiders. I like their chances. I don't know what the number is. I'm sure it's out. But
yeah, so look ahead line on that.
Yep, 7.
Yeah.
I like them there.
Yeah, it's right where that number should be.
Bears 3-point favorites over the Lions. That's our look ahead game. Anyways, what do you have for sale today at Pick Dogs?
Yeah, so I got 5 that I really like on the NFL side. My show me the money. Well, yeah, show me the money NFL Sunday 5-pack. Been having a pretty good go of it lately. Just trying to keep it going, get the people that money. I make money, we all make money. I also have one on one of those early games in college basketball. Pretty. I think it's a marquee game in my eyes. So looking for a couple more NBA, maybe a couple more NBA plays that I might put out there. Also, college basketball play for later on tonight. And, that's basically all this for today.
Sounds good. I always, today's NBA card, I just can't take my eyes off that Clippers Mavericks game. It's like, I just remember the game a couple of years ago where it was in this same afternoon Sunday spot, where it was like the Mavericks came out and put like 80 points up in the first half on them. 30 points,
30 to 40 points shellacking.
Oh, it was just it's like I had the Clippers and I just figured, it's afternoon NBA, I'll just make a bet on it. It's like I had just like it was
no, I had the under.
Oh,
So
man.
it was a good old rocking chair victory for me.
It was like 80-16 at the half or something. It was
Crazy.
it really was that big of a margin.
Yeah. Clippers mustered up, I think, a whopping 73 points in that game. Oh, I loved it.
Oh man.
Don't even have to think about it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm still not over that one. It's like I really like that game, and it's like I was thinking about putting a bet. I actually like the Clippers today, but it's like I just can't get there because of that. It's just I know, like, Big Al was on the show, and he always says you got to leave those games behind, but that one just left a mark.
They sting. You remember them.
Well, it was December 27th of 2020. I'm looking it up. 124-73. It was 77-27 at halftime. It was 36-13. They outscored them 36-13 in the first quarter, and the second quarter was 41-14 blitzing.
And I don't know if Kawhi Leonard was playing. He might have been playing, but even if he wasn't, Paul George was playing. So
Paul George had 15
it wasn't like
points.
it wasn't like they didn't have neither one of their stars.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard was out, and Paul George played in that game. But so the line in that game was the same as this one. It's the Clippers -3, and they lost. They lost by 51. So it's like, oh man, it's like there's certain games, right? That it's just like it's 2 years later. It still hurts. It's just like,
right.
I still can't get past it. Big Al, it's like he crumples up the thing. It's like the next day, It's like,
right. Let's get
like
him
it
tomorrow.
never happened. He washes his hands. He's done. I wish I could do it. Anyways, thanks for joining us. Of course, we'll see you next week here and during the week on the drive-thru.
Know it.
Oh, that clip.
Best of luck, Javon.
All right, man.
It's just so brutal. It's like, oh my God, dude. You see, I mean, there are certain games, and it could be a regular season game, and like I didn't rehearse this with Jovan ahead of time, and it's like he knew the exact game that I was talking about. It's like it's just these are the people. That we want working with us, right? These are the people we want to win the Become a Capricorns. The people that do it because they love it. They're not there to prove a point. They're not there to show that they're better than me or better. They probably are. They probably are. But it's like you don't need to. You prove it, you win. You do your thing. It's like it's not about beating me. I'm not going to pay you out. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So it's about being.
I can't wait to see who we get out of this contest, Mitch.
I'm excited.
Oh my, we've got tons of people entering. So you guys, if you haven't entered, head on over to Twitter or Instagram and put your name in there. So I know Rod's been starting on that Excel sheet to assign numbers. So numbers will be coming out soon.
We go to West Virginia. James Clark is up next. And I guess they, the Mountaineers kind of put the nail in Steve Sarkisian. He could be one and done in Texas. It's a possibility. There's going to be some coaching shakeups. Dan Mullen is going to get fired at Florida, and Sarkisian could be gone at Texas after 1 year. These are going to be some. This will be if those two guys get fired. This will and Manny Diaz gets fired in Miami. This will be the biggest year of head coaching openings in college football history. This will be the year of like the biggest jobs available, and you will see a big name leave a program to take one of these jobs. It will happen. The only thing that can make it bigger if Nick Saban retires, and that's that day will come. But James, welcome to the show.
Good morning. How are y'all this morning?
We're doing good, thanks.
Yeah, coming off a big win yesterday with the W. I wish we play all our games at home so we'd win every game.
Yeah,
we play good at home, then when we go on the way, we should stay on the bus.
There was a couple games that I left off my card yesterday that I had written down, and that was one of them. That one and the two that really got me were that one and Clemson that I had written down and did not take them. But the other one that got me was Boston College. I really thought they had a good chance in that one, and didn't happen for me. But I did get to see my friend Dave's son. They showed him on TV for Boston College right there. I took a picture right there.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
He's the backup quarterback. They have a really good quarterback, and he'll be gone, but he's the backup quarterback. So there he is. They showed the quarterback on the bench.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, I sent it to Dave. He was all excited. He's like, "You guys are watching it in Hawaii?" I'm like, on the big screen.
It's a pretty important game if it makes your big screen.
Dave played for the Browns. So, like,
I hear you.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
He's a big guy. He played for the Browns. He was a linebacker.
I hear you. That's awesome.
But anyways, what do you got going on today?
I got one pick that I really like today. I'm going to the Cincinnati and Raiders game today, guys. If you look at this, look at these two teams. A few weeks back, both of these teams was top the AFC at 5-2. Well, you look at them now. Both teams off of 2 losses. Trending in the wrong direction. They're both going downhill. We know what all went on with Oakland, the coach, and then everything been going on with the drama off the field. Well, I like Cincinnati today to win this game. Coming off a bye here. If you look, Oakland has lost their last 7 home games, coming off of a loss. And Cincinnati is they covered a spread in their last 7 games when they're on the road. So I like Cincinnati to come out here and Joe Burrow with his weapons march it down the field. And like I said, this Oakland Raiders team, I don't know, they ain't the same team that was a few weeks back with everything going on. And I really like Cincinnati to win this game for us, guys.
Joe?
I'm so torn on this one, really torn. I believe in Joe Burrows and what he can do, but I also believe in Derek Carr. And I know Derek Carr doesn't have his weapon that he liked to use, but I really do think the Raiders could come out strong. The thing is, it's in Vegas, and that's where I like to bet the Raiders, is when they're at home in front of that home crowd. I have friends that are already down there, already tailgating. They said the environment right now is just electric in Vegas for this team to pull it together. So I'm gonna have to go with the Raiders. I have a feeling that since he can pull this off, I know they can, but I think the value with the Raiders at home is where I have to go, plus the 1.5 points.
This is a tough one for me. I looked at this game, and this was just, I'm going to straight Ruffalo this thing.